Coming up on a night where Isaiah Stewart tried to end the Charlotte Hornets. He wasn't the only one, as LeBron James effectively ended the Lakers' championship hopes with his words. We'll tell you about that. The Cavs are back. Which team is going to go east in NBA expansion? All that and more on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, your daily source for all things NBA from the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us your first listen, being an everyday or joining us Monday through Friday. We appreciate each and every one of you being a part of our community, whether you're joining us here on Locked On NBA Daily or for Locked On NBA Game Night, every single night, recapping every single game. My name is Matt Moore. I've been covering the league as a credentialed NBA reporter for 18 seasons. I'm joined by Haize. You can catch him on 17,000 different Chicago-based YouTube channels. Go check him out at CEO Haize on Twitter. Am I missing anything from your resume there?
I mean, no, that's a pretty accurate description there.
Yeah, like anything. There's a new women's ice hockey league that I'm very genuinely excited about in Denver. I'm going to take my daughter to it because she's a maniac. Yeah, women's ice hockey in Chicago, because I expect your show on that.
I have no time for no more shows. I have no time for any more shows, man. I was supposed to have a Fight in the Lion show, and I literally had to pull the plug on that like 2 weeks in. Like, you know what? I'm good. I can't do it.
Wow. Why do you hate women and young people? All right. On today's show, we're going to talk about NBA expansion. Who's going east if they do add two West teams? We're going to talk about what we think the suspensions are going to be for the big fight last night. You can find out more about that on Locked On NBA Game Night from last night. The Cavaliers are back, and we're going to start with LeBron burying the Los Angeles Lakers. By the way, no Wes Goldberg today. He's literally too shamed by the fact that the Miami Heat lost to a tanking Utah Jazz team to show his face. So hope that Wes's dignity can somehow recover for tomorrow's show. He's sick. Feel better, Wes. All right. Let's start here. LeBron James last night, the Lakers lose to the Thunder. They hang in this game. I was going to pull a clip from Locked On Lakers, which is a great show that you should definitely check out. However, I think they recorded before LeBron's comments. They were also kind of like, the Lakers really showed fight. And I know that they were without Luka, so I get it. Like, they were without their best player, the Thunder without their best player. Getting beat by double digits on your home floor when the other team is without Shea and AJ Mitchell, even with Luka out, I still kind of think it's like, man, like Houston was able to handle OKC. And I know they had their guys, but Amen Thompson was out. Like, everybody's hurt. The bigger thing though was to me was the comment from LeBron James after the game. This is LeBron James. This is a quote unquote Lakers icon. Right? Won one championship with them, has given them more seasons than he's given to anybody else consecutively. This was his quote after the game. Dan Weinke from The Athletic asked him to kind of compare about the habits. It was a good question from Dan to try and be like, all right, you know where they are. Where is this team not, and how do you get there? It was a great question from Dan. And LeBron, clearly pretty miffed about the outcome of this game, was like, you want me to compare us to them? That's a championship team right there. We're not. We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes, and they can. That's why they won a championship. So LeBron is clearly stating, like he says, we're not a championship team. And look, this isn't stunning, right? Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, we all thought they were contenders, and LeBron says they're not. But this is a top 5 team in the Western Conference. This is a team that has Luka Doncic and LeBron James and Austin Reeves. They're 32-20. They're 12 games over 500. They are 4 back of the 2 seed. They are only they're tied in the loss column for the 3 seed. And they do have Luka Doncic and they do have Austin Reeves. I'm sorry, I keep calling him Reeves, and they have LeBron James. So I was pretty stunned to just hear LeBron, who is clearly at that stage, he's like, I'm 41. I do not have time for this nonsense. But like, this is to say this on record to the media is like, that's not great, I think, for your team culture, your identity, for what you're trying to accomplish this year, because I mean, you just can't expect him to be in if he knows this isn't a championship team.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is us. We saw LeBron have one of his first old man injuries this season when he was out. I think this is one of another example of him just being, I'm too old for this ish. Like, I think that's what this is right now for LeBron, and I mean, rightfully so. Like, yeah, does the comment suck as far as like for morale of your team and stuff like that? Maybe, but then again, I mean, we can't also say that this is no longer LeBron's team; it's Luka's team, and not take accountability for that. Like, it's not LeBron's team anymore. So, hey, LeBron made the comment. I'm not saying that he's wrong, but if they need somebody to rally the team and get them back focused, isn't that supposed to be Luka's job now?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like, Luka's. I have long questioned Luka's leadership. I do not think he's a great leader. And
That's
like, to be fair, I'll say this: I don't think a lot of players in their prime right now are great leaders. Like, I think we have a leadership kind of problem in the NBA.
And Shea, maybe that's it.
Yeah. Like, Shea does his business and gets everybody together and definitely like fosters that work ethic. He was also indoctrinated into the Thunder process, which is like they make them into robots, right? But like Ant, I think a big reason that the Wolves are not as consistent as they need to be is I just don't think Ant's as serious as he's going to be when he's 28. Like, when he's 28, he's going to be like locked in, serious, and be like, all right, I'm not messing around anymore. This is what it takes. Being on Team USA and that kind of stuff will help him, I think, with that. Yeah. Luka, Wemby, I think, is serious. I think he's about it. He's just too young to like be the voice in the locker room. Yeah, because everybody's kind of like, you
can't even buy a round of drinks yet.
You can't buy beer. Stop it. Right? Go read books. So I do think we kind of have this, Ja was going to be one of those guys, and gestures broadly at Memphis, right? Like, we do have this kind of problem with all of these guys in this position. Zion, right? All of those stars. It's not just the on-court stuff. It's the locker room stuff. Now, I think part of this too is the roster build. That's what Lakers fans are going to say. And Lakers fans were pretty frustrated that they didn't burn some assets to try and improve the team. But this also, to me, is very indicative of like how Lakers fans feel, which is like, oh man, we're not as good as I want them to be. Go trade for somebody. Just go get another star. Go do it. And I'm kind of like, you gotta build something organic here. I think Marcus Smart's about the right things. DeAndre Ayton is driving Lakers fans nuts. And we know what kind of like, I think this is a good example of, is it Ayton's inherent problems with being DeAndre Ayton, or is it the Lakers culture isn't enough to like get DeAndre Ayton to buy in? I'm still trying to figure this out with Ayton, where it's like, look, he was part of a championship level
team. Yeah, team that went to the finals,
right?
And and look, listen, DeAndre Ayton, I will give him credit. He still has his flaws, he still has his inconsistencies, but it does seem like DeAndre Ayton, at least coming to the Lakers, took this more seriously to start off the season. Now, I do think it's hard. Like, people are always going to regress back to who they are. And maybe that's what's happening with DeAndre Ayton here. Now, I still have my questions on, does DeAndre Ayton love playing basketball, or is he somebody that just took the basketball because he was big and athletic? I don't know that if that's the case. And I think that's some of what's happening here with DeAndre Ayton. Like, it seemed like I gave him the credit at the start of the season. It really did seem like Ayton was like, hey, this is my last chance. I have an opportunity here. My role is simplified. And he played, and I mean, he's still putting up pretty good numbers, but it's just, Ayton is a head case, man. I just don't know if he loves basketball like that.
I am kind of the opinion that this has been an awkward, not great end to the LeBron Lakers era, where he opted in because it's $52 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's LA, and he wanted to be in LA. Like, he couldn't justify leaving. I do kind of think this is harmful for like the message that this sends to the other guys in the locker room, even if they know it. Like, you want your best guy being like, we can do this, but we got to decide that we want to do it. Like, that's the message, right? Is like, we're a championship contender, but we got to choose to be that, and we're not, right? That difference, I think, is important because this kind of presents it as like, there's LeBron and then there's the Lakers. And that's always going to be a little true with LeBron because he's such an ecosystem. But I just kind of wonder, like, do you think the Lakers as a whole are going to be glad? Not JJ Redick, because I think he'll be very sad to have a ally gone. But do you think the Lakers are going to be overall kind of glad when the LeBron era is done next year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that it just allows you because you're clearly in a shift, right? Regardless of how they view LeBron as a person. I'm not saying that there's like some personal beef, but like there's a certain caveats and things you have to do with LeBron's on your team. There are certain things that are going to happen when LeBron's on your team. And not to say that some of those aren't going to carry over when Luka's too, but you now get to focus on this team being built around Luka. I do think you have a whole deficit of leadership once LeBron's gone. They have to figure that out, but I do think that there's some that are probably going to appreciate being able to just move on to what the next stage is and do that freely.
Yeah. All right, coming up, the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Denver and get a massive win and a comeback last night against Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. They've won 9 of their last 10. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are clicking. Are the Cavs back? We'll answer that question coming up on Locked On NBA Daily. Finding a doctor you actually like can feel like discovering a diamond in the rough. Sure, you want someone who's in-network nearby and has availability, but you also want a doctor who listens and makes you feel comfortable and explains things clearly. That kind of doctor exists, and finding them is easy with ZocDoc. ZocDoc's a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality, in-network doctors so you can find someone you love without all the hassle. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states, covering over 200 specialties from primary care and dentistry to dermatology and eye care. This is a huge deal for people in my life where they've had gone to appointments set up in network and they just didn't click. The doctor provider didn't listen to them, didn't listen to their concerns, took shortcuts, and it resulted in problems getting worse. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel like you can be honest with your healthcare provider. ZocDoc makes that process simple. You can search by specialty or symptoms and actually build a care team that works for you. You'll see real-time availability and book instantly. No phone calls and no waiting on hold. I hate waiting on hold to get an appointment. You can also read verified patient reviews so you can feel confident you're choosing a doctor that you'll actually like. And whether you want to go in person or do a video visit, ZocDoc makes it easy either way. Stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Thanks to ZocDoc for sponsoring this message. We're also brought to you today by Wayfair. The new year's here, and it's a perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair is everything you need for a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and budget. This is something I definitely learned as I got older, that you don't have to have like expensive stuff and you don't have to have a lot of stuff. But if you get something that's small for your home or just a significant piece for your home that makes your life better, whether it's a great desk for you to work at or a nightstand, something that just makes your life better, it's going to make you a little happy. And I think during the winter months, that's really important and can really help. Get organized, refreshed, and back on track this year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We'll be right back on Locked On NBA Daily. Back here on Locked On NBA Daily. Thanks for making us your first listen. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you are a listener to one of your local shows all across the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, make sure to check out the Everydayers Club. We're doing a lot over at Locked On Nuggets. Guys, hop in Discord. I'm doing scouting reports in there. It's been a lot of fun actually building out the Everydayers Club. So make sure to go check that out on your team's social media pages. Okay. Haize, I was at the building last night as the Cleveland Cavaliers stormed back in the game the Nuggets control for 3.5 quarters. Talked about all the clutch problems on Locked On Nuggets, but I want to focus on the Cavaliers here, who stormed back last night, get the win over the Denver Nuggets, 119-117. They've won 9 of 10. They are 2-0 with James Harden. They are rolling right now. Like, they are just absolutely rolling. They get 32 points, 10 assists from Donovan Mitchell. Harden piles in 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. They get 16 from Jalen Tyson, who I wrote about in the scouting report. They should have guarded him a little bit better by actually putting a hand up. Not much bench production, but they do figure this out. I have a lot of thoughts on the Harden-Mitchell combo. I have kind of thought of this as there's going to be the regular season Cavs, and then we can evaluate the playoff Cavs given
Absolutely
problems. Yeah, you're with me on this?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. The regular season, I think they're going to win a lot of games here the rest of the way. I think that, like, James Harden has proven that he is a regular season winner. The problem is the playoffs, and like for me, and I know the history of James Harden. And I'm not going to say that we should just expect that to go away. For me, the key for James Harden to be not the loser that he's been in the playoffs with the Cavs is that if he actually embraces the role in the playoffs of being complimentary, meaning he lets his passing, which he is still a really good passer, and set up guys. Take it to heart and to make it a point to get Mobley and Allen and get those guys involved in the game, to make it prideful to do that part of it. And then when Donovan Mitchell's on the bench, or if you guys need a big bucket, you have an opportunity, then kind of focus on your scoring. I'm not saying he doesn't need to score in the playoffs at all. I'm just saying I think his assist and how he can set that up, because say what you will about Darius Garland, he's not the passer that James Harden is at all. I think they probably pretty even when they're both healthy scoring wise, but he's not the passer that James Harden is. And that would be the key for James Harden to have a successful playoff run with the Cavs, is that he's able to be a willing passer in the playoffs this year. I think he can be successful.
He was a -6 last night, but I didn't want to shout out Thomas Bryant's playing really well right now. He's playing like an NBA vet. He's no longer kind of that young guy. Like he came out of the Wizards and then was popped over to the Nuggets and then went to the one of the LA teams. I can't remember which. And then has kind of bounced all around. Was with the Pacers. And then, with the Cavs, I really think he's been good. Like he's given them quality backup minutes. Jared Allen was great last night. No one has benefited more from this stretch than Jared Allen. He's got two constant lob threats. And it's not just the lobs though, because I do want to kind of comment. One of the reasons that, look, Jared Allen is not the rim protector that Rudy Gobert is, because I really don't know if anybody in NBA history outside of like Dikembe is. Like that's how, and like Bill Russell, like that's how great Rudy is as a rim protector.
Yeah.
But there was a play last night where it's a spread pick and roll in mid transition. So the Nuggets are way too spread out because their discipline was terrible. But there's a pass on in the underneath to Jared Allen. And Rudy Gobert either fumbles that ball or tries to go up immediately, and Christian Brown coming from the weak side blocks it. Jared Allen pump fakes, spins, and hits a little baby hook. It's like these little basic center things that Jared Allen brings that I think are really valuable. From a playoff perspective, it's really weird because it's like I can't identify the some guys like Darius Garland. Oh, well, and the problem is in the playoffs, the physicality is way tougher. He can't handle the physicality and he gets picked on defensively. Okay. I'm trying to think of other playoff droppers. Sabonis, you can't be that slow of foot unless you're able, like you can't switch and you can't drop because he doesn't have enough size. I can point out all these things. I don't have anything for Harden and Mitchell. Like I don't have anything. Like I don't have like, oh, it's this. Like Harden doesn't try enough defensively, but he tries on ball. There's ways to mitigate it. It's really interesting. I try not to overreact to these, like whoever's hottest right now, I'm like, well, it's probably not that team because it's just not how the NBA works. Cavs are 2 back of the 2 seed. After how their season started, this has been a really impressive turnaround. And I do have to credit Donovan Mitchell a lot, man. The biggest thing for NBA superstars is consistency. The fact that you get 30 from Mitchell every night, he's just like bam, 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 bam. It sets a floor for them so that if they can just get the other guys to either defend or shoot, they can win these games.
But are you worried at all about that they may be burning Donovan Mitchell out by the time the playoffs come around?
Always.
Is that a thought?
34 minutes last night? Yeah. Yeah, I think because he was so tired by the end of that Pacers series.
Yeah. And that's what makes me ask that. It's like Donovan Mitchell, we know that he's capable, but like he's gonna need, and that's why like me and you talked like coming into the season, one of the things that I thought like for the Cavs to really be a championship contender this year, you were gonna need Evan Mobley or Darius Garland to truly make that superstar leap. Now Garland's gone, so that puts that on Evan Mobley, and if he can do that, now you have James Harden here who can take on a bit of a scoring punch, but then again, like we said, in the playoffs, he's a notorious choker. So I'm just worried that they're cashing it all in on Donovan Mitchell now, and because of their slow start, that they feel like they can't take their foot off the gas. And I just worry about what that means for the playoffs for them.
This is why the NBA regular season stresses me out so much. I've been doing all this work on how you have to have certain things to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, you got to win regular season games. But it's like you better win. Oh, but you better not play your best players too much. You better pace yourself. Oh, but you can't lose it all.
it's such a difficult balance because like you do have like, and that's why like teams going on championship runs, and that's why we haven't seen a repeat champion in so much. It takes so much, and even more so now with like how many good teams we have. And then say what you will about the regular season, but once the playoffs turn on the last couple of years, like it's been a dogfight every year in the playoffs, except for the Celtics that 1 year where they ran into all the injured teams. But other than that, like it's just been a dogfight. So like it's so many things have to go right for you to be able to win a title.
Yeah. I'm always looking at three things: your SRS, which is like your point diff versus schedule, can be a top 3 seed. And if you win 40 games before 20 losses, Nuggets lost their 20th last night. Lakers lost their 20th last night, by the way. An interesting stat that I scrounged up on my own: repeat champions who do all 3 of those things, which are very important, they're still only 8 and 9 in the last 30 years in winning the NBA title. 8 of them won it, 9 of them didn't, 17 of them did not qualify. So it's tough, man. NBA season. The NBA is hard. That's your break-in analysis for Locked On NBA today. Coming up, I'm going to ask Haize who's getting suspended and how long from the Pistons-Hornets brawl, and which team should move to the Eastern Conference if NBA expansion is approved. We'll talk about that next on Locked On NBA Daily. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They're going to handle everything, W-2s to self-employed firms, and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. This stuff is so helpful. There's just so many deductions that you're not going to know about. And in today's economy, like I know a lot of people are working multiple jobs. I'm working multiple jobs. So I have to know like every single angle to get around as much as possible to get the best return that I can. And that's why TurboTax is so great, letting you work with somebody local to help you out. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150, all in if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. We'll be right back on Locked On NBA Daily. Final segment here on Locked On NBA Daily. Appreciate you guys being with us. Wes Goldberg should get his dignity back enough to be on the show tomorrow. Hope prayers up for Wes Goldberg. They lost to it. That team tried to lose, and the Heat lost to them.
Yeah.
Tried to lose. Real quick, what's worse, taking players by not playing them at all, or playing them for 3 quarters and then sitting them?
Playing them, not playing them at all. Playing them for 3 quarters and sitting them. At least you're giving the fans that came and bought a ticket something, I guess. If you're saying that,
it feels like you're messing with the end game. Like my thing is like once the ball goes up, you got to try and win. That's my position.
Well, that's because you're an ethical person. These NBA teams are not ethical, man. They don't care.
True. That's true. It's ironic. Everybody's like the gambling stuff. Everybody's like, ooh, ethics. And I'm like, spirit of the game, man. Yeah. All right. Last night, you can check out what happened and then get the full breakdown, the TikTok on Locked On NBA Game Night as Jalen Duren and Moussa Diabate get into it. And then Miles Bridges comes over, as Miles Bridges does. And then Isaiah Stewart comes in to try and finish it, and 7 Pistons have to hold him back. Stewart leaves the bench. That's obviously a problem. So I want to ask you, Haize, let's get some predictions now. Stewart's a repeat offender.
Mm-hmm.
Pistons have been involved in a lot of different altercations. Who gets what? Let's start with Isaiah Stewart. How many games is he going to get?
6 games.
Yeah, that sounds about
6
right.
games. I think that's a nice amount. I don't think anybody gets double-digit games, but I think he gets 6 games.
Sounds like 4 for the action, and then 2 for the repeat offender. Yeah, that seems right. If it's more than 8, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be like, that's too much.
Yeah.
Jalen Duren.
I say 3 for Jalen Duren. I don't like. I didn't take much problem with what Jalen Duren did in it to me. So.
Yeah, like I'm not. It's funny if you take a position on these things. Fans are like, "Do you not see what happened?" It's just like, we can't agree on objective reality. Like Duren drove, Diabate fouled him. Duren said something, which is not. That's not a problem. Diabate leans in with his face and is like being the aggressor. but then Duran mushes him. And if you mush him, you're going to get 2 games. That's it.
Exactly.
You placed your hands in an aggressive manner on somebody else's face or head. Face and or head. Can't really touch their face without touching their head. And so that's 2 games. What's Diabate?
I don't know. Diabate, the way that he was moving people around and trying to continue instigating it.
Kept going at it.
Yeah, kept going at it. I do think he's going to get 6 at minimum too, I think. So I think you have to give him as much as you give. I just don't think you can get away with giving him less than Stewart, even though Stewart's a repeat offender. I just don't think that.
I think you can because he didn't leave the bench. They think leaving the bench is all their big thing.
That's true.
The NBA's big thing since the malice is, if you don't know what I'm talking about because you're a youngster, go look up Malice at the Palace.
We're almost the same age, Matt. I know what
not you. I'm talking to the listener.
Oh, okay. Like
you know. Go look up the Malice at the Palace if you're young. Listen to the show. Their big thing is don't escalate. Is that our test? Meta World Peace accelerated it. Steven Jackson accelerated it, right? You can't escalate the situation. So I think Diabate gets. I do think he should get more than Duran. It's gonna be weird if they give them the same. I'll say 5. I'll say 5 for Musa because he was trying to he was swinging. And I do think there is a difference between mushing somebody and trying to take somebody's head off. Miles Bridges, how many games?
Yeah.
How many games for Miles Bridges?
4. I'll say 4.
Yeah, he was swinging, but I'll say 4. Yeah, he gets less than Musa, more than Duran, less than Stewart. And that's completes that run of our guess, the suspensions. Finally, news came out yesterday, being reported, expansion's back on the table, likely to be talked about at the Board of Governors this week. And the 2 teams, unsurprisingly, are going to be Seattle and Las Vegas. This has been in the works for a while. I will not be, it doesn't mean it's for sure because I'm not privy to these kind of C-suite conversations, but I think the Kraken ownership is probably going to be involved in Seattle. I don't know who's going to be the Vegas team. I don't know who that's going to be. There's a lot of talk about LeBron being the face of it for a while. I'm not sure that's going to be the case now.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to be. LeBron could. What if this all is for? What if LeBron retires to go into ownership? LeBron, the partial owner next year, no player.
Yeah. All right, but the question here is: Seattle's obviously going to be in the West. Vegas is obviously going to be in the West, which means we need one team going to the Eastern Conference. And I asked this question yesterday, and the answers were very interesting. Most people are just like, oh, it's this team. They're the most Eastern team. It's got to be this team because they're geographically. But I don't really care about that. Like, if you look at the NHL, there's a lot of stuff where you're like, that team's in the West, that team's in the East. It's a little bit weird because you just got, I think it's better to balance it, and it's better to balance out the travel. I'm all in for a more interesting and unique construction. The league does not like to do that. They want, as much as people complain.
They try to be more logical with it.
Yeah, they're always trying to be simple. I would rather do 3. I think it'd be really great to have 3 different conferences and vary up the schedule and change some things, but they won't.
The East, the West, and the North, and the South.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. What team do you think should go to the Eastern Conference?
I mean, I tend to look at it geography, Lee, as well, just because I think that's what the NBA is going to do. So it only leaves a few teams. In my opinion, it's either going to be Memphis, New Orleans, or Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're talking about geography, I think that those are the teams that make the most sense.
I made the argument yesterday. Send OKC East.
Don't do that. Come on.
You instantly rebalance things. The West is no longer a bloodbath. And now the Eastern Conference can't justify we could still make the playoffs because it's that easy. It'd be like, no, we have to be good. The Thunder are in this conference now, and everybody else will get better. They're a good organization. Oklahoma is not so far west as to be west.
It's not that much further west than Missouri, so to say. So I can understand where you're coming from there, but no, you can't move OKC Thunder East. Because they're going to win the East for the next 10 years, Matt.
Yeah.
10 years. They're not losing the East anytime soon.
But I will say, you can't make this move based off of the short term. This is going to be what's best for the league as a whole over the next 2 decades, 3 decades, until there's either expansion or contraction. There won't be expansion for a long time after this.
And I don't think there should be. Adding 2 more teams, I think that's it. That's what we need.
So the ideas here I think are interesting. If you put Minnesota East and you drop them into the Central Division, right? You would go to 4-team divisions because you got 16 teams now. You got to go to 4. Minnesota, Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit. That sound right? And then you move Indiana into Indiana, Cleveland. I'm trying to think of the other 2. Maybe Washington.
Indiana, Cleveland, Memphis.
Well, no, because if you move Minnesota, Memphis stays west.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the other option here is like if you move Memphis, it's way easier if you move Memphis or New Orleans east. Because if you do that,
yeah,
you just build a Southeast division, right? It's Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, and either Memphis or New Orleans. And then you just move Washington to a Northern division. So that's how you do that. That's our guesses on where the teams are going to move. We'll talk more expansion tomorrow with Wes Goldberg about what this is going to mean for the league and how this is going to work, and especially the expansion draft, which I am fascinated to see with the new CBA. Thanks to Haize for his expertise today. You can follow him at CEO Haize. I'm at HP Basketball. Appreciate you guys being with us. Make sure to check us out every day here in this same time slot as well. Let's check out Locked On NBA Game Night for reactions to every game across the league. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On NBA Daily.